I had to catch my composure for a second. Just gonna be honest with you. Had to catch my composure. I have died and gone to heaven, but more importantly, the Florida Gators have won and are headed to the Sweet 16, baby.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Welcome back as the Florida Gators have won another damn basketball game. But oh my God, did I think I was going to die in that game? That was ridiculous the whole time. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm just gonna be dead ass. The way, whoop, all right, that's what we're saying now. The way I was sitting on the couch the entire game was just like this, just covering my mouth the whole time, just sitting there. That game was just heart wrenching, heart stopping, every possible negative thing it can be to my heart. It was. Oh my God. And look, tomorrow we will have a more realistic conversation. Bechet, Mark, our UConn host, is not here because he's at the stadium, and so he's going to the press conference. So that's why he's not here. But yeah, I mean, tomorrow we'll have a conversation about that game, where I will rip into them, and I will say the fact that, because I will also say this, do not give me any of that crap where you went, oh, but they played so poorly and they still won the game. Do you think I give a damn? Like, I'm sorry, but like I can't sit here and go, they played so poorly, but they still won the game. They played like absolute dog crap and survived by the skin of their teeth because UConn can't shoot. That's it. That's the only reason that the Florida Gators are moving on. Because I promise you, they were outplayed in every other way. They were out hustled in every other way. They were outsmarted in every other way. But two things got them the win. One, that UConn can't shoot. And two, that Walter Clayton Jr. has ice in his veins. Nothing short of that. You know the video that's been going around of the fitness influencer that sticks his face in the ice bucket? The rumor is, and has now been confirmed, that is actually Walter Clayton Jr.'s ice. That's what it is. It's Walter Clayton Jr.'s blood. That's what it is. That's what he dips his face in, because that is ice freaking cold, okay? I ain't happy with the game. I'm not going to lie to you. But the Florida Gators won. I will be happy about that, okay? I will be happy about winning there. What was the rebounding this game? Florida out-rebounded UConn. It was just that Florida out-rebounded UConn, but UConn had so many more shots because Florida couldn't take their heads out of their asses when they're passing the ball. Like, I posted it on Twitter. Walter Clayton Jr., with the game on the line, just right behind his head. I don't know what the hell it was. I don't know what it was. Yeah, Ryan, I have the belt behind me. You can like kind of see it. I have the belt. But here's the thing. The Florida Gators didn't bring out the belt in this game. Okay. The Florida Gators were actively trying to fold for the first 35 minutes of this game. So I am not going to snap the belt for it. Okay. They don't deserve that. Right. Like, they won the game. That's great. They're going to the Sweet 16. That's great. They don't deserve the belt snapping. They need to win by more than that. But this was a game where if the Florida Gators were going to drop a game, it felt like it was going to be UConn, right? Like, it felt like it. UConn was the great coach team. I mean, back-to-back natties. Dan Hurley, arguably the greatest college basketball coach on the planet. UConn, great defensive team, in my opinion. They do all the gritty things that they need to do to win. And UConn played a perfect game except for their shooting. Shot selection was great by UConn. They just weren't hitting their shots. That's it. UConn shot 37.5% from the field and 27.6% from three. Outside of that, UConn did everything great. Okay? Like, just truly. Outside of that, UConn did everything great. They played a great basketball game. And nobody should take a single thing away from that team. All right? Nobody. UConn is a team that on average shoots 48% and on average shoots 35.4% from three. Okay? That is what they shoot. And today, they didn't do that. They shot 11% or 10.5% worse than usual. And they shot 8% worse from three. Okay? That was it. Everything, and they shot better from free throw range than usual. But this was a game where UConn outplayed you and out-hustled you every step of the way. You were just a better shooting team. And I'm sorry, I know that there's going to be people who are going to go, oh, but you won. None of that matters. Bullshit. Okay? Bull. Florida Gators won this game. That's fantastic. They are still a team that should win it all. They are still the best team in the country. But that mental fortitude, they've got to tighten up. There's just no way that UConn had more offensive rebounds than Florida did. Okay? UConn had more offensive rebounds than Florida did. And I'll look at the percentages to see if I'm just conflating this right now. UConn, I accidentally pressed times by accident. That's my bad. 35% offensive rebounding percentage for UConn. And Florida will have a higher percentage. Yeah, 44% there. But I don't know what is going on in the chat. You guys seem like you're fighting right now. But yeah, look, this was a game where Florida just played worse. Like, I can fully say that Florida just played worse in that game. UConn played a fantastic game. And they just couldn't convert their shots. Okay? That's it. That was it. This is a thing also that we've talked about for weeks and months now at this point. Every few weeks, this Florida Gators team, they play a game where they just don't show up the way they should, right? That's it. Every few weeks, they play a game where they don't show up the way they should. And this time, they didn't play the way they should. They didn't show up the way they should. But they still won. They walked away, skin in their teeth. And I'll tell you, skin in their teeth is good enough as far as just talking about winning the game. They did it. But I don't want anybody to think this is just, oh, happy-go-lucky, like we're the best team on the planet. We could do this. We could show up like that. This is a game where Florida got lucky to win this. Again, UConn played better than Florida in every single way except for shooting. That was it. And I'm not trying to sound the alarm. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just trying to be honest with you. This is a game where UConn played better, but just didn't shoot better. And that's it. That's the big change. That's the big difference. Like that's what it was. Walter Clayton, ice in his veins. Absolutely. And I think that a lot of people will say, hey, yeah, ice in his veins, that excuses everything else. It's dumbass decisions. Like, he had 5 turnovers. Will Richard had 3. Those two combined had more turnovers than all of UConn combined. That's it. That's why, like, I'm happy as hell for the win. Okay? I am. I mean, we got the black label right here. We got it out. We got it out for the win because that's what we do when we win these games like this. But, man, I just can't get over some of the stupidity that we see from this team, right? And I don't say stupidity to say actual like intelligence lacking. I just mean it as in like some of the boneheaded mistakes that they make. 12 turnovers. Swamp Donkey, what's up? Let's effing go, boys. Natty incoming. Appreciate you, Swamp Donkey, there. But 12 turnovers, unacceptable. Especially, or I wouldn't even say just 12 turnovers. Going -6 in the turnover battle, unacceptable, right? Going -6 in the turnover battle. Whatever the hell that yeet pass behind the head, the Walter Clayton Jr. is like, you know what? This is my signature pass now. I don't know what that is. Bad. Also, no. Coach Rod saying, lucky we just had a bad day, LOL. They didn't outplay us. We just shot bad from the start. They outplayed you. They out-hustled. It's as simple as that. They out-hustled Florida. They outplayed Florida. The only thing Florida did better was shoot. That's it. You can't tell me you were watching that game and going, oh, Florida's playing so well. Because UConn played a damn good game. UConn played a damn good basketball game. Okay? So I will say that yeah, Florida won the game. UConn played better. The only thing UConn didn't do was shoot. That pass was open 3 times before that turnover. He turned it over on that pass twice in the game. Like I don't know what he's doing with it. Just make the pass. Just make the easy pass. Also, because the last time he did that and turned it over, Condon was wide open. This is a Florida Gators team that turns the ball over. You have found a way to win. What else is there to talk about? I'm sorry, but let's be real here for a second. Or at least I'll be real here. I will speak my truth, and then we'll hit an ad break. Yes, you won the game, and that's fantastic, right? You found a way to win, and that's fantastic. But that doesn't mean we're just gonna go, oh well, since you won, nothing bad happened. Like, no, I have the expectations of this team going out and winning the national championship. And you play like that, and you are not winning a national championship. Okay? Because it was lazy so often. You could look at the game so many times and just go, hey, Florida just doesn't look like they're playing with the same energy as UConn. That kind of mentality is what gets you upset. Look at what Duke is doing, right? Like, let's talk about Duke. Duke goes out there and they step on someone's neck early, and then they get a lead, and then they keep stepping on your neck. You play a Duke like that, you're going to lose. Plain and simple. You're going to lose bad if you play like that against Duke. So I will be happy that the Florida Gators won. I will celebrate that the Florida Gators won, but what I'm not going to do is pretend that just because you won, everything's fine. That's not how it works. That's not championship mindset. I want this team to win it all. I think this team can win it all. I think that this should be the expectation for this team to win it all. Okay? The way that they played is not national championship winning basketball. UConn played a fantastic game. They did their job. They played the way that they needed to play, and they played the way that they should have played, except for shooting from 3. That's it. That was it. So, and I'm not saying that this Florida Gators team is horrible, right? But this is a game where Florida played down. I'm not saying they played down to UConn. I'm saying this is a game where Florida played down. And they've done that before. And we can all sit here and say, hey, well, they've got that out of the way, right? Like, they've done that. They got that out of the way. They played down. They had their letdown game. They managed to walk away with the skin of their teeth, by the skin of their teeth. But it is what it is. We just beat a 2-time championship team. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because this UConn team is not the UConn team from last year. This UConn team is not the UConn team from 2 years ago. This is a UConn team that was an 8 seed. This is not a UConn team that was a favorite national championship thought. It's not. Like you could say all you want, but it's just not. And so that's how I'm looking at it, right? Like, again, I expect this team to win a national championship. That's my goal. That's my expectation. I'm not going to say, oh, they did this, they did that, they won, who cares? That's stupid. I can't do that. I can't just go, oh, they won, who cares? I care. Because winning barely against UConn is not the same as if you're going up against Duke, Auburn in the tournament, Houston. It doesn't matter. It's not the same, right? We're talking about a team that has expectations to go to the national championship and win the national championship. You can't have down games. You can't. It's March. It's win or go home. And I don't want to see the team go home unless it's after they cut down the nets and after they're holding trophies. After we get to do a live show celebrating a national championship win. That's when I want them to go home. We will get to the chat. I see a bunch of guys talking. I'm assuming someone's offended somewhere. We'll get to the chat when we get back in this bonus episode of Locked On Gators. Daylight savings snuck up on us again. And if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5-hour energy has your back. We don't know who the Florida Gators will play this coming weekend yet. We will find that out later on. The game's at 7:10 p.m. Eastern time. And if you need 5-hour energy to help you get through that, they're right there for you. So if you plan on staying late, watching all the tournament action, hell of a tournament so far, head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, peach, mango. Even build your own 12 or 24 pack delivered right to your door. Or if you need one in a jiffy, just head over to your nearest convenience store, grocery store. They're everywhere. Gas station if you live near one, wherever you want to go. Stock up today and stay energized. And if you are, I don't know, if you're a Florida Gators fan, if you're not a Florida Gators fan and you want to go to wherever your team is playing next, go to Game Time. Imagine being there in person for that. Parth, I don't know if you're watching or I don't know if you're going to listen to this at some point, but one of our listeners was there telling me the whole time. And I was like, hey, go fight someone. Like they need juice. Just go do it. Getting tickets shouldn't be stressful. And that's where Game Time comes in, making it easier than ever to grab last minute seats at unbeatable prices. Game Time Picks makes it easier to find better value for tickets to sports, concerts, comedy, theater. I told you, I went to 5 concerts last year and they were all bought through Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. That's Locked On College for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day, we are available daily and free. Wherever listen to the podcast and on YouTube. And I see 30 comments in the chat. So surely nothing bad is going on there. I'm just going to scroll to a random point and then just pick it up from there. And if I miss you, maybe I'll get back to you. We got Connecticut's coach is a little B. I just saw him crying on TV. Look, I'm not a huge fan of Dan Hurley. I respect him as a coach. I will say I don't think that crying in a post-game interview after your season ends makes you that. I'll just say that. I don't know. I respect that kind of competitiveness, right? And like sometimes when things happen, it happens, right? Like hey, I don't like the whole like there's no crying in sports. Yeah, the hell there is. Sometimes things suck when you lose. Happy as hell that my team made him cry, though. I will say that. Dan has so much heart, man. I know what you mean, Rob, but it's good when you're right. Our bigs have to be more physical and get the other team bigs in foul trouble. Yeah, UConn was a damn good team. I will say one thing I hated is that UConn, they were in foul trouble quite a bit, and I feel like Florida didn't attack that enough. I don't know. I feel like Florida was looking for threes when they weren't getting them at that point, and so it's like, all right, just hammer it home. Especially like you're in a spot where you're getting them kind of in the bonus, just hammer it home, get to the line. I get it. You're not shooting well from the line. And so obviously the value of free throws drops when you're not converting those free throws. However, counterpoint, if you're getting their starters in foul trouble, then you're facing their backups and you're more likely to get 3-point shots. Like that's, to me, that's the big value with free throws. I understand when people go, oh, if you're not converting free throws and it doesn't matter. Yeah, kind of. But it still does matter because even if you're not converting those free throws, again, if you're getting their starters in foul trouble and you're getting their starters off the court, then that means you're facing their worst players with your better players. Go beat them that way. Our base has to be more physical. Yeah, we just read that one. We're going to beat everybody's ass no matter what it takes. Good game, bad game. It doesn't matter. We're going to win anyway. I mean, that's just not how it works, right? Like we've seen the team. I get it. Riding the high of the win. I understand it. I support that, right? But again, I try to be more level-headed with stuff like that. The refs had our number. I don't care about the refs, right? Like, the refs don't matter to me. I get it. The refs suck, but the refs suck every game. I don't care. And by the way, whenever you argue that with a UConn fan is going to say that UConn had more fouls, ignoring that UConn was intentionally fouling. But like I will say that, yeah, the refs suck, but I don't care. Like, if Florida had lost this game, I wouldn't blame the refs. I would blame Florida. Again, 12 turnovers, 5 from your star player. He ended up turning it around and playing awesome and hitting huge clutch shots. He was nailing threes. Absolutely. But he also had some very frustrating moments. Will Richard woke up. Elijah Martin, like, I know that, I don't know, I don't remember who it was that said it. I think it was someone named Josh. But I said Elijah Martin would be the X factor for me in this tournament. Florida loses that game without him, all right? Like, the first half, he was the guy. He was the guy leading this team. He was the guy keeping this team in. He had, I think, 12 of his 18 points in the first half, if not 14 of his 18 in the first half. Like, he did it. Like, he did that. So I give absolute credit to Elijah Martin there. I think he did a hell of a job. Yeah, the refs had our number, worse than the SEC title game. Duke is Dookie. That's it. It's just not true. It's rare to have a team that doesn't have some form of challenge in one of these rounds of the NCAA tournament. They need to learn from this game. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not saying they're going to lose because of this game. I'm not going to say that, oh, well, now we know they could play poorly and win. We've known that. We've seen that happen plenty of times this year. This team is going to have adversity. They should have adversity, right? They should. That's fine. But I'm not going to say that, oh, because you won, there's no problem. Because there were issues. Do you want Colorado State or Maryland? Colorado State. 2 reasons. One, I think Maryland's better. And I have said, give me the worst matchups. I don't care. I don't care who you play. Win the game. Go ahead. I don't care who you're playing. Go win the national championship. And if you can win 6 games in a row, I don't care if anybody says, oh, you had an easy path to do it, because you still have to win 6 games in a row to go win a national championship there. So I don't care what anybody says about that stuff. That doesn't matter to me. And the second reason is that I think Maryland is a better stylistic matchup against Florida. So I think Florida would have more of a stylistic advantage against Colorado State. Left too many points at the line. That's another thing. Like Florida shot 64.7% from 3. 64.7%. It's bad. Refs don't make you go 60. Yeah, there we go. This game is incredible. So negative, exactly. It's win or go home. We won. If we win like this the rest of the way, you'd still complain. I don't think so. You win by 2 points, that's fine with me. I think Florida should have won by more, but they played poorly. That's my issue. And also, go cry. I don't care. It's my show. I'm going to say my opinion. Maryland is not better than UConn. Duke has a higher height than Florida. If we play them, we might be in trouble. I turned the sound down. I don't have any complaints. Gator Nation's on fire. Yeah, that's the thing. Thank you, Mudkip. Mudkip said, hey, Molly, you're bugging. I'm saying that if Florida plays like this against a better team, like, you're going to get knocked out. That's my point. I'm happy as hell that Florida won. I'm happy as hell that Florida's going to the Sweet 16. I am happy as hell that this is the first time since covering the Florida Gators, which I started in April, or first episode was April 1st, 2021. I'm happy as hell that this is the first time I get to cover a Sweet 16 run like this. I'm saying, though, if you come out and play how you played today, there will not be a Final Four game. There will not be a championship game. That's my point. I'm happy Florida won. But I'm saying, do not get complacent with playing like this and thinking that you will continue to win, because you won't. Again, if UConn shot even their averages, you win this game. I mean, you lose this game by like 8. If they shot even their averages, you lose this game by a lot. So is that we needed a tough game, thinking we were going? No, that's I'm not saying Florida should have blown everybody out. I'm saying that I think Florida played poorly. This UConn game, you could look at the live show we did this morning, me and Mark from Locked On UConn, and I was saying, like, Florida's not covering 9.5 against UConn. UConn's not getting outplayed by 9.5 points. I don't care. And I've said Florida's the best team in the country, but you're not outplaying them by 9.5 points. That ain't happening. When will Alexis be available? I don't know. Who does everyone think we're playing next week? I want it to be Colorado State. I don't think it will be, but I want it to be. Losers in the chat don't have a winning mentality. There's always something you can reflect on. That exactly, Metro. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying, oh, Florida won. Like, that's ridiculous to go, oh, Florida won. Who cares about anything negative? What kind of kindergarten mentality is that? Florida won. That's fantastic. They didn't play a perfect game. I want you to stomp everyone out. And I know that you can't stomp everyone out. But when you don't stomp someone out, I want it to be, oh, hey, Florida didn't stomp them out because Florida shot poorly. Not Florida didn't stomp them out because Florida played down and got out-hustled and outworked. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous there. Florida, like, and look, 14 of their last 17 points were by free throws. Part of that, like, I don't like saying we clamped down on UConn because they scored 14 of their last 17 points by free throws, because they also missed wide open shots. They did. They had wide open looks and they missed them. It's not just clamping down. Like I said, if UConn shot better, this game's different. Houston looks like an NBA team. Houston's damn good. I just saw a post yesterday talking about how our bigs were supposed to outplay them physically, everything wise. That wasn't the case. Fouling Condon was their best chance because he can't make free throws. Look, again, that's another thing we spoke about this morning with Mark from Mark Zanetto from Locked On UConn. Is I'm saying, yeah, like UConn fouls a lot, but Florida shoots poorly from the line. So the bigger benefit is just getting the guys in foul trouble. Because that's what it was. I said, if you foul Ruben Chinyelu or Alex Condon, like, they're not good free throw shooters. That duo combined for 3 for 10 from the line today. And Chinyulu's came when he could have taken a lead or tied the game, and he didn't. Hurley's a big baby. Oh, Parth, you are here. Okay, so Parth is in here, who I mentioned. UConn played a smart game. They're obviously well coached. Hurley's a great coach. We made shots at the right time, clamped down on D to get back in the game. Condon has to have a double-double every game. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He just needs to play efficiently. I don't need everybody to go off. I just need you to play efficiently. If you play efficiently, you're winning this game. Simple as that. Every game. So like, I'm sorry, I'm just reading. I'm jumping a little bit through the chat. Thanks for the love last. Of course, Duval. Love you. I keep calling you Duval. I know it's T, but I see Duval first. So love you there. Go Gators. This is the wake-up call we need. That's another. Yeah, I think that this game, again, I'm happy Florida won. I'm mad at how they played because I don't think they played championship basketball. But hopefully this is the wake-up call where they kind of go, oh, hey, we need to pull our heads out of our asses. Like, I get it. I think everybody, or almost everybody, agrees that pure talent-wise, Florida's a top 2 team in the country. I don't think many people would dispute that. And I think Florida knows that. But you got to get your head out of your ass and go play like it. Week in, week out, game in, game out. You got to get your head out of your ass and play like the championship team that you should be. Again, I've said Florida, to me, best team in the country. But if you don't play like it, like, and I don't mean play like it as in you need to shoot 50% from the field, 40% from 3, 90% from the free throw line. I mean, the hustle stuff drives me crazy. We've been talking about this for a while now about this team. Teams like Missouri and a bunch of teams that are smaller than them out-rebound them on the offensive glass. And that shouldn't happen. As in, they get more offensive rebounds than, or they have a better percentage at times than Florida does. Like the loose ball stuff, Florida for a large portion of this game was not giving the effort they should have given on defensive rebounding. And you know who was a big deciding factor, or who was a big correcting factor in that? It was Will Richard. Will Richard, late in the game especially, was hammering the defensive glass. Hammering it. Ruben Chinyelu, late in the game, hammering it. Micah Hanlogton shot poorly, but I will be damned if I'm going to give harsh criticism to one of the guys who hustled more than anybody else. Okay? Micah Hanlogton was hustling his ass off out there. All right? And the thing that's been driving me crazy is the hustle here. That's it. Florida needs to figure out something with some of these inefficient shots they take. I sent a message to the subtext program, the insider program, where I was like, I've always said that when you're down late and you need a clutch shot, you want a Denzel Aberdeen switch hands, reverse layup through traffic, right? Like that's the most efficient shot in basketball. Stuff like that just drives me nuts. I can't get over that. Condon should stay for another season. I think he will. Everybody keeps talking about it. I don't know. I'm not sold that he's actually going to be a lottery pick this year. I'm just not. I think that he does a lot of stuff that teams like, but I think he still needs refinement, I'll say. And I feel like the NBA, they don't embrace refinement as much. I feel like pro sports in general don't embrace refinement as much as they should at this point. Yeah, one of the worst games we've played all season, won because UConn shot poorly. Simple as that. Years have been lost from my life, but we move on, survive. Drake, I like that you said years have been lost from your life, because right before I went live, the game was ending when they were doing all the fouls and everything. And I went to my fiance and I was like, hey, this team's going to be the death of me. Like, just so you know, this team is going to be the death of me. There's no doubt about it. Because it is. Hack a Shack strategy will give you a chance against Florida. Yeah. The only issue with that is that you don't have fouls to give in college as much as you do in the NBA. Though we were going to lose when Elijah Martin whiffed that dunk. I understood the energy, but just wanted to layup. Yeah, I get it. I'm annoyed about the dunk because obviously he could have just gone for the layup. But I do understand also in that moment, dunking at that point would have just set the roof on fire. Like, so I get it there. Wasn't going to be a blowout if this wasn't going to be a blowout. It played out how it was supposed to. I don't think so. I think Florida, again, I don't think Florida should have blown out UConn. I said that Florida wasn't going to, but I do think that they should have played better. Duke might destroy Baylor. Oh man. Yeah, I didn't think it'd be easier. I just think that Florida should have played better. UConn played fantastic basketball. That's why I hate that people are dismissing them. That was damn good basketball. They played their hearts out, but the better team won, even though we played sloppy. Yep. For how analytic Golden is, they were better on everything, but we upped them, like you said, scoring points per shot with the same threes. If Condon doesn't give Florida double figures, which big does, I don't think you need double figures from a big. I don't. Like Florida, you have Will Richard, Walter Clayton, and Elijah Martin. You've got the three of them. They had 15, 23, and 18 today. You get 5 and 7 from Condon, 6 and 7 from Chinyelu. I'm kind of good with those as long as you're like, if you're making your shots. Because Condon shot 2 field goals. Chinyelu shot 4. Condon should have had at most 5 points from field goals and then missed a bunch of free throws. Like, I don't think they need to be this huge part of the offense. Get an offensive rebound, and if it's there, put it back. Cool. I would like to see Condon shoot the open 3 more often. Like, they give him 3 a lot. Take it. Clayton's still too many turnovers. He's never going to get over that. I think the NBA is going to view him as a shooting guard more than anything else because he turns the ball over a lot. He does that. So I think that the NBA is going to view him as a shooting guard. Worried about foul shooting in close games. UConn was a well-coached team and they play. I'm waiting for the time that we see because who said it? T. Shrafasi said, I'm worried about our foul shooting in close games. I'm waiting for the moment where Florida is up 5-ish with a minute left and the other team just starts fouling at that point. Like, because Florida's going to give the ball on almost every possession to Alex Condon or Ruben Chinyelu at the top of the key. I'm waiting for the point where a team is down 5 with a minute left and you do the dribble handoff with Condon and you just foul Condon right away, or you just foul Chinyelu right away. And you say, hey, if we lose because they're converting free throws, then we lose. But if I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking like from an analytics perspective, Todd Golden has basically been like, hey, like if you foul a 60% free throw shooter and you convert a 2, then you're winning on average in the long run. And so I'm curious if a team would do that against Florida. It would have to be whichever coach is very analytically oriented. But but I'd be interested to see if that would be an approach the teams take there. So yeah, just curious about that one. UConn had no advantage over UF. He just played bat. UConn out-hustled Florida. Like that's sure a metric, no, but UConn out-hustled Florida. No doubt about it. And like people keep saying, hey, like the guards this, the guards that. Like, yeah, the guards played poorly there for a while. Hey, Joe Dirt, how are you? Ask your mom, Brett Brown. That's how I am. So I'll say that. UConn brought it today, dictated the pace, and threw Florida off their game. This would be the hardest game Florida plays. I might agree, except for Duke. I might agree. I think Houston can give Florida a game. I think Iowa State's a great team as well. Think that they just bring you down and play muddy basketball. And I'd like to see how Florida would play there. But I do think that Houston and Iowa State, I don't think either of them would have the offense to keep up with Florida. Duke's defense, I think they could, as they send a shot off the backboard there. Who's our matchup against Flag Condon? I think you would have to. I don't know, honestly. I would maybe say start Thomas Huck that game and just give Huck that game against Flag, because I don't think Condon can keep up with him athletically. I don't think Will Richard could keep up with him size wise. But also, we know that Florida is going to switch a billion times, and so it'll be whoever they want to. That's how it would be. Well, that's what you need to win a game, George, by at least 1 point. I just win every game by at least 1 point. Yeah. Again, I'm fine with the win. I'm happy with winning, but I'm not going to pretend that Florida played a great game. I'm not going to pretend that Florida could play like this and win games against better competition, because they're not going to. This was a UConn team that you were miles better than, but their coaching was better, and they out-hustled you, and they almost beat you. So that's all I'm going to say there. That's the only bad game we will have. I hope so, because again, Florida has a game once every few weeks where they let you down or let me down, and play some rough games. Cooper Flag looks like he just got hurt. Looks like he just got hit in the face. So there's that. Do the defensive mistakes concern you moving forward? Absolutely. But that's the thing that this team's always going to have. When you switch as often as Florida does, there's going to be open shots. Like when you switch as often as Florida does, and you saw it a lot in this game, and you've seen it in every game, and I've said this before, where Florida gives up open looks from threes kind of often because of how often they switch. There's times where Walter Clayton and Elijah Martin both go with the same guy on a switch or off a screen instead of switching. And then now you're in a rough spot where they're both guarding him. No one's guarding someone. And if that guy can shoot, they're going to kick to him and get a three. So yeah, I think that stuff like that is concerning. Brett Brown said touche. But yeah, stuff like that is concerning. I'm just going to hope that again, Florida fixes some of the things. I would like to see at certain points when you can tell a team is abusing the switches, because again, UConn had a lot of open looks. And this was a thing that Mark mentioned on this morning's pregame show, that against Oklahoma, I think he said he counted UConn having 9 wide open looks from 3 and missing them. And he was like, that can't happen. And it did happen in this game. UConn had a lot of they weren't shooting a ton of contested threes, but they were making them, or they were missing them, right? They were open and they were just missing them. UConn shot 8 for 29 from 3. Liam McNeely shot 2 for 8. Alex Caravan shot 2 for 9. Solo Ball shot 2 for 9, right? So I just want to see the percentage of 2 for 9. Is 22%. 22%. McNeely shoots 32% on the season. He shot 25% from 3 today. Caravan shoots 35% from 3. And Ball shoots 42.2% from 3. That trio went what? What was it? It was 6 for 26 from 3. 6 for 26 from 3 from a trio where they all shoot decently from 3, I'll say. Decently. Not great, but decently. And like Roland saying that, bad bounces gave UConn a lot of second chances. Yes, there were quite a few bounces that, even when Florida had guys there, it bounced away toward UConn. But there were also times where UConn just straight up out-hustled you. No other way to put it, right? No other way to put it. We didn't ball pressure well. They let UConn bleed the clock for 10 minutes. Yeah. When Florida started playing more, I don't want to say like presses in full court press, because they didn't do that much, because UConn's a smart team, right? You try to trap in the backcourt and they're just going to throw it across court like you should. But when Florida started playing more pressed up in the half court, that's when UConn started speeding things up and forcing things there. Did Clayton have the flu? His body language early in the game was so lethargic. His body language was horrible early in the game. I just think he just wasn't feeling it at the start. Could be the early start time. I don't know. Barely saw our bench guards as well down the stretch. Clavsar and Aberdeen are going to contribute more. I don't know if that's true. I'm sorry, but like, Aberdeen is a guy that I think should play a lot. I think he brings it on defense. I think he just has to dial back the inefficient shots. But Clavsar, man, I think he's decent at trying to poke the ball out, but I don't think that he plays with the strength that he needs to play it with. I don't think that he's been as good offensively for the past 3 weeks as we've seen him be earlier in the season. And so stuff like that, it's concerning, right? It's concerning. There's no doubt about that. Hurley outcoached Golden, hands down. Game plan was executed to perfection. With the best player in college basketball. Yeah, that's a lot of what it is look, you were outcoached. You were out hustled, but you won because you're a better team. Simple as that. That's why Florida won. But thank you all so much. We've gone, what is it? 42 minutes. Jeez. Talking about this game. We will talk more about the Florida Gators basketball team. We'll talk tomorrow when we know who Florida is going to play. We'll preview that game a little bit. But the Florida Gators, hopefully national champions, but at the absolute minimum, the Florida Gators are going to the Sweet 16. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This was Locked On Gators. We'll be back tomorrow morning, talk more Florida Gators basketball, and we'll see you all next time.